Alright, good evening guys. We're going to do Chapter 5, Section 3, Sedimentary Rocks. I apologize for this not being up sooner. I did the whole video 2 times through and could not get the audio to work. So I apologize, it's getting late. I was at work late and just got home a little bit ago. So I'm trying to get this fixed for you guys. So I'm hoping a lot of you can get this. If not, tonight we will work things out. My bad. So make sure you have your chapter title, chapter 5, obviously, and rocks labeled, and section title labeled as well, section 3 for each page that you use on your notes. It will help keep you organized. Our objectives, you do probably want to write these down. How do sedimentary rocks form? What are 3 major types of sedimentary rocks, and how are sedimentary rocks used? These 3 things you should be able to answer by the end of this presentation. I'm using a different format here, so I don't know if my picture is going to cover when I finalize and if you can actually move it. So give me some feedback on that as well. So here we go. Sedimentary rocks are formed from erosion, deposition, compaction, cementation. So erosion can happen from things like water and wind. So these rocks were obviously carved by the water and wind eroding the rocks away, kind of creating some cool figures. Now, the whole process of compaction and cementation comes in process as these particles deposit. As you guys know, anything that's eroded is eventually going to be deposited and settled. And over time, it compacts together. And that compaction is going to harden and create this cement-like structure, thus forming a rock. Sorry, getting comfortable on the couch here, guys. Alright, so we have 3 types of sedimentary rock. We have clastic, organic, and we have chemical. These are the 3 types of sedimentary rocks that you should be able to identify in your lab on Wednesday. Different processes form each of these types of sedimentary rocks. So clastic, organic, and chemical sedimentary rocks are going to be formed a little bit differently, and we're going to talk about that and how you identify these different rocks. So, clastic rocks, they're going to form when rock fragments are squeezed together. Common clastic rocks are going to be things like shale, sandstone, conglomerate, and breccia. Okay? These 4 are the most common clastic rocks, and they are formed from basically different pieces of a rock breaking off and getting squished together. So, sedimentary rocks are going to contain a mixture of rock fragments that are going to vary in size. Conglomerate looks like a bunch of pieces of sand glued together. Shale, it's a little bit differently. You're going to see different pieces of that. Sandstone, you're going to see totally different colors and bands running across it. And breccia, we'll talk about later. I don't really have any good examples of those, but those are pretty identifiable clastic clastic, you know what I'm saying, types of rocks. So I would draw these in your notes. Give yourself an example of kind of what they look like. This would be conglomerate. Look, you literally have little pebbles in there showing you the different pieces. You know what? I'm just going to move all of this. Oops, sorry. I'm going to move all of this so that you can see it as we do it. And so you can pause this as you need to, because I'm afraid that my picture is actually covering this. My apologies. I want to make sure you guys can see all of this. We're just going to take it away, get rid of it. Alright, so there's conglomerate, rock fragments with rounded edges. So you have the rounded edges giving way to give you clues. So this would be a clue when you're identifying a sedimentary rock, such as conglomerate. Alright, so next up is shale. And shale, okay, looks about like this. And these fossils are often found, they're easy to split into flat pieces. Now, I have a fossil. If you want to ask me to see it tomorrow, that'd be great. I have it sitting on the lab counter. It's actually a flat piece of rock, and if you split it open, there's a fossil inside. Shale is commonly found with fossils because it can be broken into flat pieces, and it splits very, very easily. So that is shale. I would make sure you write down these different examples. please come see that fossil. It's really pretty cool. Now, sandstone. I really like this one. This one's pretty common. Look at the guy screaming at you. Sandstone has many holes between the sand grains and allows sand to absorb water. So what happens is the sand takes in that water and eventually it hardens and dries up. And this is the one that is the most probably identifiable sedimentary rock because you see these really pretty bands that are in it. Yes, this is like a canyon kind of cave kind of thing, whatever you want to call it, of sandstone. Pretty awesome. Next up, we do have organic rocks. Organic rocks, they're not all made from particles of other rocks. Organic rocks are actually made from the remains of plants and animals. So this is decaying plant and animal matter. So that process of eutrophication, this is where you're going to see organic rocks being formed. Yes, that process has come up 3 or 4 times already. Coal and limestone, they're 2 important types of organic rock. They're probably our most popular ones that we're going to discuss and you need to be familiar with in class. Limestone is really pretty interesting. We're going to talk about that and where you can find that as well. So let's look at coal here. Coal forms from the remains of swamp plants buried in water. Eutrophication. As buildup of layers, the weight of the layers squeeze the decaying plants and just basically purifies it. And so then, like that shale rock with that fossil you can see in class, you literally have the imprint and the pieces of that plant inside a rock. Coal is going to compress and create this natural resource that we use to actually burn and create heat in our homes. Now, if you pressurize coal even further, that's when you get diamonds. Yes, girls, coal makes diamonds. No, you can't sit on it and make diamonds. Sorry. Alright, so next up we have limestone. Limestone is really popular rock that is actually found in Kansas and Missouri. Now, how could that be? Because if you look at what the definition of limestone and where it's found, it says that it forms an ocean where many living things such as coal, clam, oysters, that have hard shells or skeletons are made of calcite. So they're basically made from the bones of ocean animals. And slowly over time they're compacted and cemented to change the sediment into limestone. Limestone is very, very popular in Kansas, and they build a lot of different things, buildings I should say, not things, with limestone there. So this limestone, how could it be if it's created by the ocean? Well, that just kind of gives proof and headway to Wegener's theory of the continents moving and shifting. Because if it didn't move and shift, then how were we covered with this ocean water? So a lot of our area in the Midwest was actually covered by water, and the water has since receded since the movement of the ocean and the position of the continents. Not to mention the glaciers came into play. There's a lot of different factors there showing and proving that we were once actually underwater. Chemical rocks is our last piece of sedimentary rocks. These minerals are dissolved in a solution, crystallized, form a chemical rock. Limestone can form when calcite is dissolved in lakes, seas, or water underground and come out of a solution and forms crystals. Now, basically, there's different kinds of formation of limestone. It's when the calcite is dissolved in these lakes and underground areas and will form. Minerals are dissolved in the solution to form a chemical rock, and this chemical rock is going to have like some crystals kind of form to it. So that is how we're going to get rock salt. Rock salt, such as is made from halite, and it forms by evaporation of all this water. Evaporation of the water leaving behind the halite. It's kind of a cool thing. A lot of restaurants use rock salt. That big black rock on my desk, go ahead, lick it. It's salt. It came from the salt mines in Kansas. So once again, you've got some more minerals right there in the Midwest. Uses of sedimentary rock. People have used sedimentary rocks throughout history, including for different purposes, including building materials and tools. Things such as the arrowheads, the White House made of limestone, kind of cool there. Cement and steel is made with limestone as well. So we have a lot of different uses for limestone. It's very important for us to use these sedimentary rocks. We use as many resources as we have here on Earth, and I just don't know if you guys realize how many valuable resources we do have, in fact. So that concludes us. How do sedimentary rocks form? Hopefully you have a better understanding of how they form, the three major types of sedimentary rocks, and how we use these sedimentary rocks. If you have any more questions and need further clarification, please come see me. You should be able to answer all three of these in your notes now. So at the end of this video, make sure you can go back and answer them. If you cannot answer them, you need to come see me, and have a great night.